Alright, look, Misfit 17, we just finished. We watched it all. KSI performed music after God knows how long. It was a good event overall, but the reason we're all here is because Danny Aaron's versus Danny Simpson's. This was a fight that a lot of people, including me, went into thinking that Danny Aaron's was about to knock out Danny Simpson's in the first 2 rounds. I'll be honest and openly say it. I thought Danny Aaron's was going to win the fight comfortably, but I was too naive to the fact that Danny Simpson is a natural athlete. He was a football player for God knows how long, and to be honest, he still got it in him. The cardio was there. Skill level, even though he had 4 weeks of training, you can tell it was about to be there very soon as well. This fight was so much more closer than I thought it would ever be. I cannot believe that it's this close, but at the same time, fair play to Danny Simpson. Look, a lot of people said that Danny Simpson should have won the fight and that Danny Aaron's robbed him of the decision. But look, I'm going to give my opinion on this. I originally thought Danny Aaron's lost, but in all honesty, I watched the fight 2 times now, and I don't think Danny Aaron's actually lost. For all of you come at me in the comments, this is just my opinion. I'm going to also specify why I think Danny Aaron did not lose the fight, but at the same time did not win the fight. I genuinely do think the draw was the right decision, but look, we're going to get into it. Made a list on my phone whilst I was watching these fights twice. We're going to go into round 1. Look, round 1, it was a really close round. I generally thought when I was first watching it, Simpsons just dominated it. But rewatching it, you can tell Danny Aaron was slipping a lot of the punches. He was dodging a lot of them. But at the same time, Danny Simpson just threw more. And at the same time, when you do throw more, you're going to land more. So Danny Simpson's clearly won that round for me. It wasn't as close as people thought that round was. So Danny Simpson's, for me, he edged that round by far because of the more punches he threw and the more punches he landed compared to Danny Aaron's. We got into the second round. Simpson was looking more comfortable now. He wasn't twitching as much. Danny Aaron's, he still continued to dodge punches and started to land a few more combos. But Danny Simpson's became more composed and he landed even more punches than in the first round. And he looked pretty comfortable in that ring. And I think he clearly won that second round because the punches he threw, they landed flush and they were hurting Danny Aaron's, even though Aaron's didn't go down. Look, it's basic maths, isn't it? If you throw more punches, you're inevitably going to land more punches. There's only so much Danny Aaron's could have done to defend himself. And look, when you're not throwing back and you're just trying to defend and dodge like Deji versus Alex Wasabi, you're going to lose a round. As of right now, round 1 and round 2 clearly goes to Danny Simpson. Now look, we came into round 3 and I'm going to be honest, it was a clear fact that Danny Aaron's won this round, and here is why. Aaron's became more comfortable in the ring. He wasn't as hesitant to throw more. He threw so much more punches, threw many punches in the ring, and he looked more slick than ever. And look, he wobbled Danny Simpson. For Simpson, it was the start of the end because his legs were wobbly, and look, it might just be ring rust because he has only had 4 weeks of preparation, but also he might be a bit rusty from playing football because he's retired for a while now. The fact that Simpsons became more wobbly and his footwork started to just go out the whole ring, Danny Aaron's was able to just counter on this and he threw more punches and they were landing flush. And we thought at one point that Aaron's was about to drop Simpsons. I don't care what anyone says. There was that one moment in that fight where we thought Danny Aaron's landed completely flush and was about to drop Simpsons. Credit to Simpsons though, because he stayed up on his feet. Even though his footwork was a bit wobbly, he still managed to stay in there and threw some counter shots back. But again, Danny Aaron's landed more punches this time and they were more flush compared to Simpson. Simpsons was getting a bit too comfortable here and he had to put his foot on the gas when it came to the 4th round. Not only to add, in the 3rd round, we saw 2 headbutts from Simpsons. Now look, I get it. If you're lacking experience, headbutting is quite a common thing, but I'm not even going to really count that as a factor of who won this fight because it didn't make too much of a difference. Now we head into round 4. In my opinion, this is the most controversial round. I think we all have to rewatch this fight. I already have. I'm no boxing expert, but everyone should rewatch this fight because we all wanted Aaron's to win. And what happened is that Aaron's didn't live up to the expectation, so we all thought he performed miserably, when in reality, it wasn't as bad as we thought. This was the most controversial round here. It was really even, but I do think Danny Aaron's edged it just about. Again, Simpsons was way more unstable with the footwork. The minute they both came off the stools from round 3, there was only one man who actually charged forward, and that was Danny Aaron's. Danny Aaron's, in the first 10 seconds of the 4th round, he was landing punches, he was throwing combinations. This was a Danny Aaron's we needed from round 1, otherwise he would have been screwed. And to be fair, he was screwed at the end. Danny Aaron's, he threw more punches than Simpsons in my opinion, just about. But the punches that he threw, even the punches were quite even. You can easily tell who was hurt way more by them. Danny Simpson's. This caused Simpsons' footwork to be absolutely terrible. Everything he learned in the last 4 weeks completely went out the picture. He was there trying to hang on, and I'm not saying he didn't do a good job, because hanging on in that fight, in that situation, he still managed to get some shots through. But Danny Aaron's, in my opinion, landed more in the 4th round. But like I said, it was a controversial round, so I get how some people would score the last round to Danny Simpson's, and therefore it would be 3-1 to Danny Simpson's, so Danny Simpson's would have won. But in my opinion, it's not just because I like Danny Aaron and because I've met him and he's a sound guy. I'm taking all of that away from my opinion of the fight. I genuinely do believe Aaron's edged that last round, but if you do score that last round to Simpson's, I'm not mad at that, because I understand why you would. But at the same time, I genuinely just do think Danny Aaron's landed more flush punches in that last round, and that's why Danny Aaron's did not rob Danny Simpson's. But look, first time any of them had ever had a fight before, so fair enough. But to be honest, I genuinely do want to see that rematch. But Danny Aaron has to step up big time if he wants to avoid making the same mistake, leaving that controversy out on the table. I genuinely do think this was a bit more like Deji Alex Wasabi, but it was a bit more closer, and it wasn't a complete robbery, to be honest. So there we have it, man. Look, you can say whatever you want in the comments. Message me on Instagram. I don't mind. I'll happily debate about it. But look, I think Danny Simpson's did way better than we all thought. I'm actually happy with his performance, to be honest. 4 weeks of training. He can turn into a monster. Give him 6 months. In fact, give him 8 weeks of camp. That is a normal standard camp. In fact, that's 2 weeks more than a standing camp. Give him 8 weeks, which I'm sure he'll take. He can do bits in the scene. I genuinely do think. Give Danny Simpson's Jamie Vardy. And if you're American, you don't know who that is, look him up. He's an absolutely mental guy when it comes to football. Anyways, look, this has been the Fight Talk. More videos coming out soon. Anyways, in a bit, my people.